Hey everyone, this is Michael with the general reading for Leo Sun, Moon, and Rising for June 2019. I do hope that this video finds you all well. I am really interested to see what comes up for you guys, but before we actually begin, I would just like to announce really quickly that I am offering giveaways on this channel after we hit certain subscriber counts. The first one will be once we hit 10,000 subscribers. I will offer the winner, or winners, a choice between a free distance Reiki session and a free personal reading. So definitely hit subscribe if you haven't already done that. You can also follow me on my other social media, on my Facebook and Instagram, where I post pick-a-card spreads and cards for the collective, and that way you also won't miss out on the giveaway once I announce it. I also just want to thank those of you who have actually been leaving comments on these videos, especially those of you who are opening up and getting vulnerable with us and kind of sharing what's going on for you, because it's amazing to watch people reach out or people to just kind of relate to other people and say, I'm going through something similar, or I'm just supporting you, I'm sending you positive energy. That's really unlike any online community I've seen or been a part of before. So thank you for helping facilitate that by just sharing and being yourselves. It's actually very, very powerful. So thank you. That's one of the most rewarding parts about this content, is that it's showing people that we're all going through similar cycles and waves, and that we're not going through things alone, even if we feel alone. You know, we're all kind of going through a similar struggle at the same time. So again, thank you, all of you who are brave enough to share your experiences and to also support other people and reach out to other people. Also, make sure to hit like and share these videos as well. It helps this channel grow as quickly as possible so we can continue to grow this lovely community that we have been fostering. And it also just helps me continue to bring out this material. I do have links for personal readings and distance Reiki sessions and donations, all in the description box below for those of you who feel called. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Before we begin, I do just like to disclaim that these are general readings, meaning not all of the messages that come up are meant for you. It's up to your own discretion to discern what is applicable to your life and what should be left behind for someone else. Some of the energy may come up in the reverse. So someone who is presenting as a third party, or energy that is presenting as another person, might actually be the way you are coming off, or vice versa. So do keep that in mind. Don't get caught up on the gender of the cards or even the zodiac sign. It's just the most concise way that the energy is being manifest right now, and the energy is fluid. And finally, if these readings don't resonate, or you would like a more thorough picture of what's going on for you for the month of June, you are more than welcome to check out the other videos. Again, that's the sun, moon, and rising, or any sort of heavy placement that you have. That can just kind of give you a better understanding of what's going on. And of course, you can always book a personal reading as well. I think that is actually everything. I'm going to start off going into the astrological forecast, which I actually have a link for a blog post that's much more extensive for those of you who are interested in kind of getting a more thorough picture of the astrology this month. I was also tuning into your collective, Leo, while I was shuffling the deck before I began recording, and I do have this Queen of Cups in the reverse that came up, and right away, this tells me a lot of you have been dealing with, this could be a water sign, someone who has a prominent placement with Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer. I actually get more the sense, however, that this is just someone who's very emotionally manipulative. They're good at reading a situation, they're good at kind of sussing out the energy of a room, but they don't use that for good. They're very vampiric, they're very manipulative. So a lot of you are dealing with someone who's quite emotionally manipulative. You might not even recognize it right now, to be totally honest with you, for reasons I'm going to explain in a little bit. But this is just showing up as someone very prominent throughout this read, someone who's emotionally manipulative, someone who is they are very intuitive, they may even be psychic, but this is someone who, again, they're kind of just pulling strings. They're trying to be controlling, manipulative here. And I don't know. This actually could be someone coming back from the past as well. For some of you, this is someone who you had dealt with, you might have removed yourself from or distanced yourself from. They may actually be coming back, or they may already have come back by the time June rolls around. So that is interesting. Um, as for the major events, we do have a Gemini new moon on June 3rd. That's going to be a really good time to try new things, to just have fun for the sake of having fun, do things you enjoy. That will actually open up a lot of opportunities for you if you just do something um, just for the sake of trying something new. I feel like Gemini is all about the multifaceted nature of humanity. It's not just being two different personalities, it's more like being hundreds of different personalities. And if you know a Gemini, you know what I'm talking about. That they really have the ability to show you different sides to yourself that you never would have known existed otherwise. So I feel like that new moon is going to be a really good time to kind of explore new parts of your life and explore different types of people. You know, you might be meeting new kinds of people that you don't normally interact with, especially with Venus sextiling Pluto. There might be some sort of major shakeup for a lot of you in the romance department that's opening up an unlikely connection, or your perspective about connections have changed, and that's allowing someone new to come in. So kind of keep all of that in mind. It's going to be a really good time to set intentions for meeting new people and just communicating with people, having heart to heart conversations, or just conversations really in general, any sort of communication. It's going to be a really powerful time for that. Um, we do also have the Sagittarius full moon on the 17th. So any of you who are feeling stuck with something, that's the perfect time to release it, because Sagittarius is all about freeing oneself, finding freedom. That could be in the forms of travel, you know, breaking up the routine. That could be through the forms of seeking higher knowledge or higher wisdom, either through taking classes or you know, going on a spiritual retreat, or learning new spiritual concepts. You know, knowledge is power, especially with Sagittarius. So it's a good time to release anything that is blocking you from reaching that next level, from going beyond, from broadening your horizons. That's a great time to release something. I do also know the main event, I guess, for June would be the Neptune retrograde that is happening on the same day the Sun enters Cancer. So we're kind of starting off that Cancer with there might be some hard-hitting truths, actually. There might be some rude awakenings for some of you. And that's why I'm wondering if you're even aware of who this emotionally manipulative person is right now. There may be something around that time or a little bit after where this person kind of reveals their true colors. With Neptune in retrograde, it's very easy to succumb to deception, to illusions. Its influence is very sneaky. It's very subtle. We may not be aware of what's going on beneath the surface here, but once Neptune goes retrograde, that influence is pulled back quite a bit. We have a lot of clarity. We can suddenly see the future very clearly. We can suddenly see, you know, where we may be getting manipulated. And even though it's painful, I don't want you to panic. I don't want you to worry. Neptune going retrograde is really like the veil lifting. So it's actually quite an exciting time. Dreams can become much more vivid. I'm already feeling like dreams are getting much crisper for a lot of people. And I think that may have to do with kind of being in this pre-shadow phase. It's going to be a very powerful time for intuitive work. And again, Neptune goes retrograde for about half the year. So I believe that's until November when Neptune goes direct. So we have quite a bit of time to work with that. And during that time, it's very hard to succumb to any sort of deception or illusion. So it's going to be much harder to get tricked again if you are being deceived or if you are being manipulated. So that's kind of a silver lining there. We do also have Mercury going into Leo, into your sign, at the end of June. That's going to be June 27th. That's going to really bring a lot of creative flair for people. That's going to bring a lot of creativity to the collective, but especially to you being a Leo native, I think that's going to be really nice. There's going to be a lot of mental energy for you, and there's going to be a lot of inspiration to work with. This can also make things a bit theatrical or dramatic for some of you, especially if you're communicating with someone, especially if this is a watery person. So that may be something to kind of keep in mind as well. But overall, I think it's going to be a really fun time, especially for those of you who are creatives. And I think that's pretty much, that covers the main points. Again, I do have a much more extensive list of the aspects and transits that I found important for June in a blog post, which you can find down below. I'm going to now begin the actual reading. I'm just going to shuffle the deck here. What are the general messages for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising? Interesting. We actually had quite a few of cards fall out for you, Leo. Let's see. The World in reverse. The Devil in reverse came out with the Seven of Pentacles. And the Three of Wands in the reverse. Oof, don't like that. We also have the Three of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. A lot of reversals coming into June for you guys. So this is stuff you've been dealing with in May, or perhaps even earlier, but it's coming to surface in June. So with this World card in the reverse, I do feel like some of you, something wasn't closed out, something didn't end the way that it was supposed to end. There was kind of this cycle that you were supposed to graduate from, and for some reason that didn't occur. I'm actually getting the sense, however, that this has a lot to do with the people around you, just looking at these other cards. We do have, you know, with the Devil in reverse, the Three of Wands in reverse, and the Seven of Pentacles here. Let me show you. It's hard to hold all of these up at once. Here. And these cards are reflective, so they might be a little tricky to see. This does feel like some of you may be dealing with a Capricorn who's kind of blocking you off. It seems like this is more just you recognizing a dysfunctional connection or a dysfunctional situation, and you're trying to escape from that now. And what's unfortunate about this is that you put in a lot of effort with the Seven of Pentacles here. You really put a lot of hard work in, and I think you're kind of seeing the fruits of things now, or you're starting to see the fruits of things now, and it's just, it's not worth, you're seeing it's not worth everything you put in, especially with this Three of Wands in the reverse. There was something you were expecting to come in. You're expecting some sort of ship to come in with your trades. You know, you made a trade and you put in all this effort, and it doesn't seem like it really came in. This could be a personal relationship, or this could be kind of a day-to-day situation. This energy feels like it's pretty pervasive, so it's hard to narrow down, especially in a general reading. But overall, it seems like you wanted to really start something new here. With this World card, you really wanted to begin something big and beautiful, and it wasn't coming through, or when it did come through, it just didn't match your effort, all the stuff you put in. And again, you know, kind of in the mental and communicative part of the past, we have the Two of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles both in the reverse. It seems like someone might have dropped their responsibility. They might have been juggling too many things and something slid, or something just kind of fell apart. They lost their balance. And, you know, when people were supposed to be working together with this Three of Pentacles, there was again kind of this crumbling, this end of a cycle, or this end of a community, really. It feels quite large, actually, with the world being here. So it was a very big connection that you were hoping to create, or you were trying to create something with someone, and it just, someone didn't put in the work, and it kind of crumbled. Which sucks, because honestly I feel like for most of you, that's the other person, that's not you. Of course this energy couldn't be in the reverse. Maybe you let something fall through that you just didn't really care about, and it kind of hurt someone else. But honestly, I get the sense that you really have been putting a lot of yourself into a situation or into a connection, and it just wasn't reciprocated here. I do have the Peacock. This does tell me some of you may have actually been dealing with a narcissist, someone who really thinks quite highly of themselves. And that makes sense with that Queen of Cups that came out earlier. Someone who's very full of themselves, very caught up in their own beauty, their own appearance. They may be quite manipulative, and they may have tried to give you the appearance of a connection or the appearance of a relationship, or they may have seemed like they were putting in equal work, but when push came to shove, they didn't. And I do feel like Peacock also kind of speaks of this very high level of acceptance, of accepting yourself, of accepting a situation where it's at, of accepting other people. This may kind of be the challenge for you in this situation, because the person you were working with just wasn't there. They weren't able to match your energy. They weren't able to reciprocate what you had to offer. And instead of getting angry about it, it's important to kind of talk about it, to not let things fester. But there is also kind of this need to just accept that this is the way things happened. And that doesn't mean that you don't feel any strong emotions about it. That doesn't mean you don't feel hurt about it. But it's just, this person is operating on a different level than you are, frankly. And it's kind of up to you to be the bigger person in this situation. I feel like you already were. But I think to kind of free yourself from this resentment, to free yourself from this toxic feeling, it is important that you do address it, that you do express it. The Peacock is very expressive, so it's important to kind of have these real conversations, even if they're hard. So that's kind of heavy coming into June. Again, this was kind of happening throughout May, or even before. For some of you, this may be going a bit further back. But I feel like it became pretty clear in May, in this previous month. We're now going to look at the first half of June to see what is coming up for you. Interesting. So I had all of 3 cards fall out. We had the 5 of Wands, 9 of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. So things are looking a little bit brighter, I will tell you that, but there is definitely some conflict that's going to be happening, some sort of ego struggle or power struggle that may be drawing you in. It seems like this is happening at work or at home. It's kind of very much in the day-to-day part of your life, kind of in the physical part of this read. There just may be a lot of conflict. A lot of pettiness is actually what I'm getting. It seems like even though something big fell apart, it's just people are fighting about the wrong things. They're not... You have bigger fish to fry. It's kind of the expression that comes up. That's interesting. Yeah, it feels like there's just kind of this drama that's happening around you. You may be feeling like they're trying to draw you in, but I feel like you're very focused on your personal happiness at the beginning of June. You're really just, you're done with all this bullshit. You're done with trying to work with other people and make other people happy. You know now that you need to make yourself happy first. You kind of need to fill up your own cup and then overflow into other people. That's kind of the approach I'm getting for you, Leo. And there is kind of a wish fulfillment here. Some of you are working on making something come true. Some of you may actually have a wish coming true in the first half of June, which is very nice. And you're feeling pretty happy about it. You're feeling pretty good here. Some of you may also kind of have something up your sleeve for this situation. Some of you may have kind of a sneaky way of dealing with this conflict, or you may be kind of sneaking around, which is kind of funny. I'm a little tickled by that, to be honest. But you know, you seem emotionally in a pretty good place, regardless of what's going on here. But again, I do want to warn, because this is sometimes a card of someone who's a bit of a con artist, and we do have Neptune that's about to go retrograde, so don't, you know, be very discerning. Don't sign up for something, don't sign in a contract or get into a commitment quite yet. I would kind of wait until the second half of June if you can. But overall, it feels very good. It does feel good. It feels like you're just working on your own happiness, and you have this Queen of Pentacles here. Some of you may be communicating with someone who has heavy earth placements, so someone who is dominantly placed in Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Excuse me. And you're really focused on creating abundance for yourself, on creating a lovely life for yourself, and this person may be able to help you with that. This person may be able to offer you some sort of guidance. But mentally, you're focused much more on the day-to-day. The Queen of Pentacles is kind of a long-term approach to things. You're thinking pretty long-term at the beginning of June here. You are planting the seeds, you're waiting for them to grow. You may have already planted them, and it's just, you know, with this kind of wish fulfillment, you may be working with the law of attraction. You know that you've put your desires out there, you know you've put the intention out there, you've done the work you needed to do, and you're just continuing to tend to those saplings, those seeds, and watering them, and you know it's going to yield something eventually. You're focused much more long-term now. You're focused much more on your own personal happiness, what's going to give you happiness in your life. That's really good. But again, just there may be some sort of conflict here, and it may be trying to draw you in. There may be a strong pull there. So just something to be wary of. What is the animal wisdom for Leo in the first half of June? Not coming out. What is the animal wisdom for Leo in the first half of June? Let's try it this way. This is interesting. I feel like some of you may actually be feeling a bit blocked off spiritually at the beginning of the month as well. That's way too many. It might feel like there's too many things coming at you at once, there's too many messages or too many mixed signals. So again, it is kind of important for you to focus more on your own happiness. That might be a bit overwhelming. Perhaps there's people coming at you with many different opinions, and they're not really looking at your own best interest, they're just telling you what they would do, what they want you to do. So it is important that you follow your joy here. Here we go. Interesting. Yeah, some of you are really dealing with some small-minded people. Perhaps you're kind of falling victim to that short-sightedness yourself. With the zebra, I do see that there may be this black and white thinking that some people are engaging with. This nitpicky, detail-oriented mouse energy might be coming up for some of you as well. If this is you, this is telling me that there is a need to actually work on something creative, to work on a project that requires a lot of detail, because mouse is always looking around. They're always very hypervigilant of their surroundings, always looking out for threats. And if that's how you're feeling, it's really important that you're taking all of this high mental activity and putting it into something productive and putting it to use. And maybe even on some sort of work project or side hustle that could give you some sort of money or fulfillment in the long run. But it does feel like there is this need to kind of use this creative energy, or to use this mental energy creatively. With the Zebra card, there is a need to kind of break out of this black and white thinking, to open up the third eye, to see things from a different perspective, to see kind of a different hue on the situation. That might be kind of how you're going to address this conflict. This could also be indicating travel or faraway lands, or someone coming from a faraway land. Perhaps someone is traveling towards you. But really, this is just opening your mind to different possibilities. We do have Jupiter that's going retrograde through Sagittarius right now, so it is a good time to kind of... There's going to be a struggle here, because there is, I want to say there's an opposition with the Sun and Jupiter kind of in the middle of the month, the middle of June. Again, I have those dates in my blog post. They're escaping me right now, but this is going to present as a need to kind of break out of the day-to-day, break out of the routine, this black and white thinking, this rigid thinking. That is going to be kind of a theme for you in the beginning of June. We're going to look now towards the rest of the month. I'm being told to actually just draw from the top of the deck. So this is going to be the second half of June, or this could even go out into July or beyond. You can just kind of consider this the progression of where things are going now, kind of the current trajectory. Yep. All right. Okay. Actually, this is good. I really like this direction that things are going in. Queen of Swords, you're cutting people out. You're done with bullshit. The Moon card in the reverse, and the Six of Wands. Yeah, you're gonna feel really clear about things towards the end of June. It's just gonna feel really clear what is working, what isn't. You know, again, kind of this end of this illusion, this high emotional period, with Neptune going retrograde especially, it does feel like you're coming out of this really heavy energy, this confusion, this uncertainty, and you're getting clarity. You're gaining clarity on a situation. Your intuition is actually getting a lot stronger, which makes sense, you know, mentally, with Mercury going through your sign towards the end of the month as well. You're very insightful, you're very analytical, and I think you're going to be able to combine those two streams and get a very clear picture of what's happening for you. With this Queen of Swords, you may be dealing with an air sign, so someone who's heavily placed in Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. But honestly, I actually feel like this is you. This is just you saying what you mean. You're not holding back anymore. You're being very sharp with your word. You might even be cutting people out, especially if you've been dealing with some sort of toxic situation or conflict or tension. It's just like, you're done. You're rising up to your power. You're getting very, again, you're very analytical. You're very head over heart about the situation. You're just done. You're done hurting for whatever this was, and you've had enough. And I feel like that may involve cutting someone out for you, or just stopping some sort of conflict, being like, enough, we need to talk about this, and just being very direct. I see a very sharp turn there. And you know, the Six of Wands, this is actually really good. You're feeling very good. You're feeling victorious. You're feeling like you've come back from this battle. You've come back from this conflict, and, you know, you overcame something. You're feeling quite triumphant, which is really nice. And if there was someone who kind of distanced themselves from you at the beginning of June or even in May, I do see that they may be coming around as well. They may be coming back if they had something to deal with, if they had some sort of conflict or situation that really needed their attention. They're going to be coming back quite victorious towards you. You know, they're going to be feeling really good. So I feel like this is actually really positive. Things are going to end up going to a very positive direction, even if there's conflict. It's important for you to figure out what makes you happy. That's really kind of the takeaway here. You just need to focus on that. You need to kind of focus on your own fulfillment, because the situation you're dealing with right now, Leo, you're not going to be able to fulfill these other people. They're too caught up in their own ego, their power struggle, their conflict, their wounds, their trauma, whatever. It's not your place to try and heal these other people right now. You need to kind of focus on your own stability, on healing yourself, on just taking care of yourself, because it honestly doesn't seem like anyone's really doing that for you. And then I feel like once you do that, you may be having someone come in who is able to kind of reciprocate this strong energy you have to give, this passion you have to give. I'm going to look now at one more animal card here. We have the hyena. This tells me that someone's going to be taking off a mask. Whenever we draw the hyena, we think of that laugh, that very characteristic laugh or cackle that they have. And this is someone who may be using humor to mask how they really feel, to be masking their deeper emotions. This person may be a bit of a clown. There's even like this drunken laughter that kind of comes up with it as well. So sobriety may be important for some of you by the end of June. This could also be someone else's energy as well. But yeah, when this card shows up, it is important to be sober. However that applies, it doesn't even necessarily need to be drugs or alcohol or any sort of substance. It might not be a traditional addiction at all, but you need to break away from that. You need to break away from the things that you use to mask your pain, to hide parts of yourself here with this moon. And I do see that you're doing that here with this moon in reverse, this waning influence. I feel like whatever it is you're releasing on the full moon is going to be very, very powerful for you, and it's going to actually free up a lot of new energy to come in by the end of June. So definitely work with that full moon on the 17th. I feel like that's going to be very useful in shedding things that are acting as blockages for living your best life. And also kind of getting vulnerable with people, you know, opening up, not being the clown all the time, actually showing what you care about and talking about the things you care about. Open up to someone. I think that's really important for you by the end of June. I'm not getting any more messages right now. I do hope that this was helpful for you, Leo. Definitely hit like and subscribe and comment down below to let me know what is going on. Again, you can book a personal reading with me or a Reiki session using the links down below. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye, Leo.